Hello, welcome to Kings at Home Daily this Monday morning. My name's Goff, I'm one of the leaders here at Kings, and if you're a member of Kings, welcome. If you're just looking in, welcome to you too. It's our privilege to be going through 1 Peter, a little study each day, and I'm in chapter 3. I've got 7 verses, and I'm reading from verse 1 of chapter 3. Wives, in the same way referring to the way that Jesus gave himself for our sakes at the end of chapter 2 there. So wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them don't believe the word, they may be won over without words by the behaviour of their wives, when they see the purity and reverence of your lives. Your beauty should not come from outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles, probably not much chance of that at the moment, and wearing of gold jewellery or fine clothes. Rather, it should be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. For this is the way the holy women of the past, who put their hope in God, used to adorn themselves. They submitted themselves to their own husbands, like Sarah, who obeyed Abraham and called him her Lord. You're her daughters if you do what is right, and don't give way to fear. Husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives. Treat them with respect as the weaker partner and as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. Marcus preached on this passage just a while ago, and you can go and find that on our website, so I'm not going to go through it in great detail. But I think it's quite timely that we're talking about marriages as we go into week 5 of this strange time, lockdown, isolation and so on. We know that in many cases that there's pressures, the pressure is rising, relationships are coming under pressure, tensions, people not used to being together in such close proximity for such a long time, and that's giving way to difficulties in some marriages. May not be true of us. So it's quite timely really to be looking at this. I'm not going to say a great deal about roles of husband and wife, but just to reiterate what things that Marcus shared a while ago. The Bible speaks about the wonderful equality of husband and wife, men and women. In fact, it refers here at the end, doesn't it, that you're it says as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, heirs together in the gracious gift of life. Wonderful equality, and yet also beautiful complementarity. We complement one another. That's the way the Bible teaches on marriage. And one of the ways that we complement one another, husbands taking responsibility, especially at this time, taking responsibility in our marriages, giving that godly lead in our marriages that God would have us to do, and wives receiving that leadership, receiving that, submitting to that leadership, so that together you would flow beautifully in the way God ordained for us. So husbands, take the responsibility that is yours, setting the tone, being the one who is not afraid to be praying for your wife and encouraging and setting the tone in the home, and wives receiving that. But I don't want to speak so much on that. I want two things I want to pick out from this passage. And the first thing is in verse 1, where it speaks about wives being married to unsaved partners, and it says, submit to yourself to your husband, so that if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words. That's special, isn't it? And let me just make that point this morning. If your husband or wife is not a Christian, or maybe there's others in your household who are not believers, don't know the Lord, take this to heart this morning, that without words you can make a big impact on those around you who don't know the Lord. Without words. by your behaviour, by the fact that you're not anxious, you're not fearful, because you know the Lord. You've got a wonderful hope and a future, and you trust in the Lord. You're trusting every day to Him. And so without words, by your demeanour and your lifestyle, see this as an opportunity to speak volumes to those in your household who don't know the Lord Jesus. So that's the first point to make. We don't always have to use words, just by the way we live, especially at this time when those around us are quite likely fearful, anxious because of what's going on around us. It's a wonderful opportunity to be different, to be making sure that we've got peace and calm in our hearts as we put our trust in the Lord. That's the first thing. Then the second thing I want to pick out in the last verse here that I read, verse 7, which right at the end it speaks about husbands and being considerate with their wives and so on. It says, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. Now we know that if there's angst in our hearts towards others, that spoils our walk with the Lord, our devotions, our prayers. Paul says as much in 1 Corinthians when he's speaking about the breaking of bread, taking communion and so on. If you've got something against your brother, go sort that out first before you take the bread and the wine. Similarly, in your marriage, if there's anger, angst, disagreement, grumbling is going on between you, that will spoil your walk with the Lord and will hinder your prayers, will spoil your prayer life. So do be careful in that, and the best way to be careful would be to be prayerful. See this as a wonderful opportunity to start praying together, husband and wife, in a way that perhaps you've never done before. Perhaps usually life is busy, dashing off to work, life is demanding, and maybe you've neglected that area of praying together as a husband and wife. Well, see this as a wonderful opportunity to work that into your daily routine. Work it into your daily routine to pray together, husband and wife. Pray about the things that are challenging you, that are causing you to become worried and anxious. Pray about those things. Pray for one another. Pray for your extended family. Pray for for friends and neighbours around you. It's a wonderful opportunity. And so I really would encourage you that see this as a way not only of keeping your marriage strong as you pray together, because you can't pray if you're mad with one another. It's a wonderful way to see your relationship strong, but it's also a wonderful way to see your lives fruitful together as you pray, not just for one another, but for those around you. So as we go into week 5, probably quite challenging now. People a bit stressed, a bit stretched. Let's be making sure that without words, the way we're living life, the way we're acting and reacting to what's happening around us, let's make sure that speaks volumes. But also in our marriages and home life, let's really up the prayer level together, praying together regularly. And hey, don't stop when this is over. See it as a pattern that you'll learn here, and it'll go on for years to come and be a blessing. So there we are. Have a good week. God bless you, and look forward to eventually seeing you face to face when we get the opportunity. Bye for now.